Hi, it's Wendy Jensen here, your second life midwife. If you're going through a religious transition or you're just starting second life and you're starting brand new and everything that you have learned from first life is ready to see itself completely mature and developed in second life as you move forward, then this video is for you. I have a rebirthing school, an online rebirthing school, and the structure I used for that online rebirthing school is more of like a deprogramming course. And I go through the chakra system. And the reason I use the chakra system is because, and it's just for energetic psychology. It's not like we're balancing out your chakras, we're understanding the energy psychology. And I use it as a map to help us deprogram because it's so thorough and it helps to understand some of the ideas and concepts that we were developing at certain stages of our life. And if those were infused with religions that keep us really closed down and not able to access our full potential, then we are able to readdress those and we kind of investigate our subconscious mind so that we can readdress some of these beliefs that we established at a very young age. It's the beliefs that were imposed upon us, and there's a filter that we've seen life that we're now ready to reevaluate and see if that's what we want to have in our life moving forward. So that's why I use the chakra system, and is just as a beautiful map, and it's got colors and it's got everything's connected. I love how it connects with the body, and it's just a real holistic approach. And so when I thought about, gee, how do we deprogram from something that's so deeply ingrained in us and infused in us, the chakra system was something that really stood out for me because it connects us with our health as well. This video is specifically geared toward the second chakra, and the second chakra is also known as the sacral chakra, and it's located right where all of your sexual organs are. For women, that would be your ovaries and all of everything that's just really low in the perineal area, and for men it would be your gonads, and all of your sexual organs are here in the second chakra. And the second chakra governs your kidneys, your appendix, your bladder. It also is responsible for things that you develop that cause maybe friction in relationships, and has to do with your sexual drive and your sexual desire. It also is connected to your level of creativity and you being able to initiate and create things on your own. So we know that it's dysfunctional when we are struggling with addictions, especially oral addictions that have to do with drugs or alcohol or smoking. All that is really connected to the second chakra because it's linked to shame, and shame is the thing that really shuts down that second chakra. It also has to do, we're dysfunctional in this chakra when we're dealing with infertility and not being able to conceive babies. And when we are struggling with codependency. Codependency is kind of a dysfunctional coping mechanism that we develop as we're very young and growing in the second chakra. That's a dysfunctional relationship strategy that we use to cope. So if you're struggling with those things, you might have some things going on in your second chakra that are not working in your behalf and not aligned for you. So the second chakra is really creates dysfunction when you are raised in an environment where there are high levels of criticism, of fear, of judgment, focus on sin, focus on worthiness, on repentance, develops these high levels of shame. And the shame is, again, it's a contempt against the self. And we use a self-deprecating terminology to, offer a sense of false humility about ourselves, but it's really us beating ourselves up and feeling like we're never worthy and never good enough. And this isn't an idea that we get solely in religion. Of course not. But there are some religious theologies that really affect our ability to accept ourselves at the deepest level, especially when we've been taught that in order for us to return back to God, we had to have some violent, bloody death of the best of us to redeem us and to put us back into the good graces of our Creator. And so you can see how just that message alone creates contempt against the self, and that we're never able to connect with ourselves at the deepest level because we feel somewhat responsible for the death of one of the best of us. So in this space, it also causes us to become responsible for other people's feelings. So if in your house you were responsible for how your mom felt or your dad felt, or you're afraid to tell the truth because you're afraid of the feelings that are going to fly out, what people are going to think of you. And we become responsible for everybody's feelings, and we become very hypervigilant at trying to strategize who's feeling what, which is really impossible because most of us cannot read minds. But we spend a lot of time worrying about what other people think, and this can override our ability to think in the flow because we're constantly having our energy drained onto the fear of what other people think. And those are made up stories anyway, because we have no idea what they're thinking. Another sign of overfunctioning in this area is that you overfunction in relationships. That means you're putting far more into the relationship than you're getting back. And you always feel like it's your fault if something goes wrong. And that is just some enmeshment that was going on in your family, and some doctrines that are going on about never following astray and what will happen if you decide not to take that covenant path. It's all woven into that. Also, again, I already talked about this heavy emphasis on what other people think. You're taught in the organization to be a proud representative, and we were constantly fed praise and attention according to our obedience, and acceptance within the tribe is also contingent on our obedience. And so this is why we become highly sensitized to what other people think of us, and that becomes our source of external validation. And we become very afraid to disappoint our leaders, afraid to disappoint God. And this makes us very cautious and hypervigilantly working under this pressure of worry. So it creates such an undercurrent of shame in us that we are continuously in the act of searching for what is wrong with us, thinking that if we can just figure out that one last thing that's wrong with us, that one day we will discover all of our flaws, we'll have it figured out, and we'll finally be worthy of love and acceptance. Well, I have news for you. You're just an unfinished product. You're meant to be in flux all the time. And you're probably never going to meet some imaginary level of perfection. So that really puts us at a disadvantage. It puts us behind, just right there from the get-go. So we have a difficult time creating relationships with other people. Excuse me. Because of the toxic relationship that we're having with ourselves. So every relationship we have, we're the common denominator in all of our relationships. And so if we're starting to see patterns in those relationships, then it is us looking internally as to what's going on with us so that we can really move into that space of adjusting our inner life so our outer life results will change. We might struggle in this area with the ideas of sexual purity, and that sexual purity culture, or the lack of sex positivity, actually breeds shame for the body and contempt against the body that then fuels frigidity, addiction, violence, deviancy, those unexpressed sexual feelings. And having contempt against those unexpressed sexual feelings creates a lot of our sexual dysfunction. So some of the things that we can do is get aware of the dialogue that's going on in your head. And you need to fire the abuser and recognize what you're telling yourself and the stories you're telling yourself. Open up this area by doing dancing, hip movements, any kind of hip movements, and start doing the things that you love without apology. Just begin to harness your creative energy by doing some of the things that you love or that you are effortless for you to create. And the energy of beauty and pleasure starts to open up the second chakra. Explore your body, explore your sexuality, discover who you are and what feels right for you. Get more balance in your relationships, which means you're probably going to have those crucial conversations. Release the fear of what other people think of you. Release the fear or the obligation or the responsibility to be able to manage everybody else's emotions. And so that you're able to communicate on a higher level without feeling like you have to censor yourself all the time. And in this chakra, our whole goal is to stop the shame. And there's nothing to be ashamed of in this life, that we're here on this journey of exploration. And we get to do that in awkward ways and in weird ways and in dumb ways and ways that we wish we hadn't. But that's how we learn, is through making mistakes and learning from them. And there's absolutely no shame in that. No shame in our body, no shame in exploring our body, and just recognizing when we're operating from a place of shame and fear of the humiliation of an outside force. So I hope these trips have helped you. If you want to learn more about my online course, we go deep down into each of these chakras, and we have activities where you can pull up a lot of this information and be able to look at what you're thinking and doing and be able to kind of rewrite your DNA, if you will, to help transition you and really declutter your mind and deprogram you from doctrines that are not serving you, and help you reestablish some thinking in your mind that feels more congruent with who you are. If you're interested in on that online course, just look at the information below. You can connect with me and we can have a chat about it, or you can look it over for yourself and see if that's something that you are ready for. I'll tell you what, being able to harvest all of the energy at this time of you transitioning is an important piece. And you being able to operate and function at a high level is going to make all the difference in your life. Being able to harness all the trauma that happened while you were in the church and when you left, and being able to step into a place of resilience and to capture the strength from some of the things that you're working through. And if that's you, check out some things below, and I hope to connect with you soon. Bye.